A change of tack as President Trump brings his daily virus briefing back. He urges Americans to socially distance and to wear masks as deaths rise across the US.
When you are not able to socially distance, wear a mask, get a mask. Whether you like the mask or not, they have an impact, they'll have an effect, and we need everything we can get.
British lawmakers criticise the government for not doing enough to tackle the threat from Russia, as their report reveals the UK is one of Moscow's top targets. More claims in court about Johnny Depp and his ex-wife Amber Heard's relationship. She says he hit her more than 14 times while they were together. And thanks and respect for Jack Charlton, one of England's World Cup football heroes, as crowds line the streets for his funeral. The US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has encouraged every nation to push back against the Chinese Communist Party following talks with Boris Johnson and Dominic Raab in London. Mr. Pompeo congratulated the UK for banning Huawei from the 5G network here and welcomes the government's response to China's new security law in Hong Kong. He also said he hoped Britain and America could conclude a trade deal as soon as possible. Saudi Arabia's 84-year-old ruler King Salman bin Abdulaziz is in hospital in Riyadh. State media says he's holding a virtual cabinet meeting from there. It also reports he's having medical checks for a gallbladder infection. About a dozen people have been freed from a bus in Ukraine after the country's president complied with the hostage-taker's bizarre demand that he promote a film about animal rights. President Zelensky used social media to encourage people to watch the 2005 production Earthlings. The armed man then began to release the hostages in the city of Lutsk.
Demand collapses for bear bile in South Korea. Now, instead of being killed, they are left starving and captive. Campaigners demand the government set up a sanctuary. At least 2,000 Israelis have gathered outside the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's home before marching to the Knesset over his handling of the worsening pandemic and allegations of corruption. Protest turns violent. A number of people were arrested. Reimposed a lockdown after a spike in new COVID cases has prompted Israelis to demand better state aid.
Meanwhile, asked by a reporter about the British socialite Ghislaine Maxwell, who's been charged with helping the convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein abuse young girls, the president said he wished her well. She denies those allegations and is currently in jail in New York awaiting trial.